Hi. Hi. Hi there. This is Chao speaking with you. I have this figure in an image on the screen. I'm here to tell you a story. Here I'm in a physical space, in a room. You are in yours, I guess. So I figured it might be a good way, at least for me, to start my story of hugging with hugging a wall. Still, I want to imagine us in the same room. If you were here, you would be standing where the camera stands. In fact, this feels better now. And we still have 1 meter 50 social distance, so I guess we're good. Hello. I'm Chao, and I want to tell a story of hugging. The first person that comes to my mind, if you ask me about hugging, is my mom, who's actually not a person of hugging. In fact, hugging is not part of her social etiquette, probably rather a private gesture. And she told me when she was a schoolgirl. When she was a schoolgirl, especially in the last 3 years of 1960s, she would greet people, and she would be greeted by a quotation of Mao's Little Red Book. Now that was a particular historical period, and she'd give me an example. Say she would need to go to the store to buy things. 为人民服务，我要1斤面粉。Which means serve the people. I want 500 grams of wheat flour. Now that I look at it, it could as well just be a verbal replacement to hello. And that was how it worked, and she didn't really remember even a handshake. And handshake came when she was much grown in the in late 70s. So this brings me a question. Me being her son, how come hugging just is part of me? I like hugging. I like greeting my friends with hugging, especially when we meet and then we want to start a conversation, and this is good distance for exchanges of ideas and emotions. But anyway, this is not my story. This is the story of my mom. And the first hugging that I remember from my mom when I was an adult was many years ago. That was when my ex-girlfriend came to visit her for the first time. Of course, she knew we were coming. I guess she had anticipation. Still, when these two women, some 30 years apart, standing on two sides of a door frame, and immediately my ex stepped up and hugged my mom. That was a surprise to her. And I couldn't figure out what it did to her. At least at the time, she appeared really happy. Years later, 2018, I came back home for New Year again. And when I left, they proposed to send me away at the airport. And I said, no, it's really far away, you don't have to. But they insisted. So we went to the airport together. And they had to stop at the security check. And I thought we would wave goodbye as usual, or just say goodbye. But my mom suggested a hug, and that seized me in an instant. I didn't know how to react. Of course, very soon I came back to the moment and I hugged her. And that was my first hug with my mom as an adult. Later I also hugged my dad. It was, for the two of us, a bit somehow awkward. It was also the first time that we hugged. And I went to a security check and, the steps down the way, and I looked back and checked on them all the time. They were all the time standing there where they were until they vanished from my sight. And at that moment, I sensed a burst of tears coming here, and I couldn't help. When I arrived, we become some 700 kilometers apart, and we had video chats, of course, like everybody else does. And this virtual connection somehow became physical with this hugging, or with this ritual of saying goodbye. It became tangible. Please, if you imagine, please imagine a piece of ramen. And that is how I felt. How much did it take to stretch one singular continuous piece of dough over the time zones of 7 hours? By the way, if you're interested, that artwork is done by Rafael Ibarra.